OpenAI shipped a cybersecurity AI this week called GPT-5.6-Cyber. It only went to 4 companies. Your business is not on the list, and you might be one setting change away from being covered anyway, or you might already be exposed. One thing you probably haven't checked decides which. Here's what actually happened. On Monday, OpenAI announced Daybreak Blue and Red, 2 tiers of cyber defense sitting on top of their limited access frontier models. GPT-5.6-Cyber lives inside the Red tier. Red is only being handed to what OpenAI calls trusted customer partners. Accenture, IBM, CrowdStrike, Cloudflare, full stop. So no, you can't buy it. Your developer can't wire it in. Your agency can't call the sales team. It doesn't exist as a product for you this week. But 2 of those 4 names are Cloudflare and CrowdStrike. And here's the part almost nobody in the coverage said out loud. Cloudflare sits in front of roughly 1/5 of the entire live web. If your site has ever loaded a captcha that says checking your browser, you're on Cloudflare. If your web host set up your SSL certificate through them, you're on Cloudflare. If your agency put your site behind their WAF 3 years ago and never told you, you're on Cloudflare. If you're on Shopify, on Kajabi, on ClickFunnels, on Webflow, some slice of your traffic already crosses Cloudflare's edge before it reaches your site, which means you might already be one vendor upgrade away from the same defensive intelligence OpenAI just handed to 4 companies. And your competitor, the one who cheaped out on hosting and is running on some grandpa p-panel setup with no upstream vendor, is not. So the answer is this. You are not buying a cyber AI this week. You are choosing which vendor sits in front of your business, and the 4 winners are already picked. Before I show you how to check yours in about 90 seconds, one ask. If this is the first video of mine you're seeing, subscribe. And if you want the actual 1-page checklist I use with the small businesses I work with, the vendor names, the settings to turn on, the sentence to send your agency, it lives inside the Church of SEO Jesus, my free school community. Everything from these videos, the prompts, the checklists, the move first workflows is in there. Free, link in the description. Now the verification. Open your website's DNS settings right now. If you don't know where those are, open the account you use to buy your domain. GoDaddy, Namecheap, Google Domains, wherever. Look at your name servers. If they say anything with cloudflare.com in them, you're on Cloudflare already. Real proof, not me telling you. Back to Daybreak. 2 tiers, blue and red. Blue is defense. Instant response, malware analysis, patch validation, think fire alarm, smoke detector, sprinkler system for your digital business. In practice, an AI reading your server logs at 3 in the morning, spotting the login attempt from an IP nobody at your company has ever touched, and quarantining the account before your ops person opens Slack. OpenAI calls blue the recommended starting point for most offenders. Plain English translation, it's what a normal operator needs. Red is different. Red is offense. Red is what a security tester or a vulnerability researcher would use, and GPT-5.6-Cyber, the new model, only lives inside red. So when the headlines say OpenAI shipped to Cyber AI, they mean OpenAI shipped an offensive-flavored model to 4 companies who will use it to test defenses. What you actually get downstream, if you get anything at all, is blue. And blue is fine. Blue is what a business owner needs. But it matters that you know the difference because the vendors selling you blue over the next quarter are going to lean on the GPT 5.6 name in their marketing, and the product you're actually using is 1 layer sideways. Okay, what are you actually being defended against? OpenAI's own announcement said the quiet part loud. Threat actors are going to use AI to conduct attacks at unprecedented speed and scale, including in fully autonomous ways. Autonomous? Word that changes the math. And the receipts are already on the record. Hugging Face, one of the biggest developer platforms on the internet, was compromised. A gym website, the kind of small business you know by name, was hacked. AI is being used right now to spin up fake profiles that talk to your staff on LinkedIn and Facebook and email, pretending to be a supplier, a candidate, a customer. The last example is the one small business owners keep getting wrong. You keep thinking of hackers as guys in hoodies typing at a keyboard. The mental image is a decade out of date. Your 2026 attacker is a script. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't need a coffee, it runs the same 3 probes against 1 million sites a night, and yours is one of the million. It fires 1,000 password guesses in the time it takes you to read this sentence. It doesn't care that you're small, it cares that you're online. So here's why the vendor choice is the whole story. Old model. You buy a product and it sits on your laptop. Antivirus. A firewall, a password manager. And it was fine because most attacks hit the endpoint. Your 2026 attack hits your Surface, your website, your email records, your shop if I apps, the subdomain your agency spun up for a landing page 3 years ago and forgot. All of it. And the only thing that can defend a surface that big, at machine speed, is another machine, sitting upstream in front of your traffic, which is exactly what Cloudflare and CrowdStrike do. So OpenAI didn't hand a product to 4 companies. They handed the whole defensive lane to 4 companies. Same 4 names: Accenture, IBM, CrowdStrike, Cloudflare. And whoever your website loads through is now either on the fast lane or off it. Here is the old way of thinking about this versus the new way. Old way, cybersecurity is an IT line item. You review it once a year, you trust your web host, you buy antivirus for the laptop and hope the site is fine because it has SSL. New way, your upstream vendor list is your security posture, because the defense is being delivered through Cloudflare and CrowdStrike and their peers, not sold to you as a shrink-wrapped box. Old way, you wait for the breach and then call the agency. New way, you send one written email today asking your agency who patches your WordPress, your Shopify apps, and your staff email accounts and how fast, because response time is the whole game once the attackers are running autonomously. Old way, you assume small equals invisible. New way, you assume small equals the training set, because the AI agents doing the hitting do not care about your revenue, they care about your attack surface. A site with no upstream vendor and an admin password still set to admin123 is why the whole class of attacks gets easier every quarter. So the moves, 3 of them, all doable by a person with a laptop who is not a developer. 1. Put your website behind Cloudflare if it isn't already. The free tier does the basic version of what we're talking about, and the setup takes about 15 minutes if your web host isn't in the way. The paid tier, Cloudflare Pro, adds the bot management and the WAF that actually earn their keep once autonomous attackers are the norm. About $20 a month, cheaper than 1 hour of an instant response consultant, and you will need that consultant 0 times if the WAF eats the attack at the edge. 2. Ask your agency or your IT person one written question: who patches everything and how fast? If the answer is a shrug or someone we'd have to call, you have your answer and it is not a good one. Put a name and a response time in an email so it exists in writing when you need it. 3. Turn on 2-factor authentication on every email account attached to your business, not a suggestion. A requirement. The social engineering attacks in the TechCrunch piece are landing because staff email is being reused, phished, and taken over faster than any human can react. 2-factor cuts that off at the ankle. 15 minutes across the team, 1 authenticator app done before lunch. Now the quote. OpenAI, I used 2 words in the announcement I want you to sit with. Narrowing window. A company that sells the AI worth trillions, telling defenders they have a window. Not a fair fight, not a level playing field. A window. Which means 2 things happen from here. The price of defense goes up the day this becomes standard, because the 4 partners get to charge for the fast lane. Expect Cloudflare Pro to stop being $20 a month once the GPT-5.6-Cyber flavored features hit the price sheet. And the price of a breach goes up the day the attackers get parity, because the recovery cost, the ransomware demand, the reputation hit, all of it compounds. So the play is not to wait and see, the play is to move upstream before your competitor does. You will not outcode the attacker. You will not outhire the attacker. You will pick a vendor that already did. Move this week. Everything I just walked you through, the vendor checklist, the exact sentence to send your agency, the Cloudflare toggles that actually matter, sits inside the Church of SEO Jesus. My free school community, the prompts, the checklists, the move first workflows from every one of these videos live in there. Free, link in the description, grab the checklist before Monday, and the next drop finds you first.